Moving on from question 10 of logical reasoning drill set number 11 to question 11 of drill set number 11, we've got our highlight tool ready to go as always, and we're going to read the question stem first, and it's one of our more ambiguous question stems. It says, which one of the following most logically completes the argument? So if we're being asked to logically complete the argument, we either need to find an inference that functions as the main conclusion of the argument overall, or we're looking for what is often considered a since strengthened because we've got a conclusion presented in the paragraph itself that we need to provide logical support for. So we can't know what task we have until we read the paragraph on the left in full and first think, do we have a conclusion or not in the statements presented? So from the top, before the advent of modern statehood and mass media, languages with common roots blended into one another much more than they do today. There was, for example, a smoothly graded continuum of dialects from the French spoken in Paris to the Italian spoken in Rome. Today, clear political boundaries and mass media have resulted in distinct homogeneous languages. In biology, we observe a similar phenomenon. Where populations are spread evenly over a large area, some species blend into one another. Thus, where populations have become geographically isolated from one another, we should expect to find blank. Well, thus we should expect to find is the lead-in to our conclusion. So this is actually functioning more as an inference task. So we just need to find something that we would expect to find about these populations that become geographically isolated from one another. So we're going to want to highlight the statements in different colors that are related to this statement about where populations have become geographically isolated from one another. And we've got an analogy between the populations and languages. So we know that up top, languages with common roots blended into one another much more than they do today. But we know that today, clear political boundaries and mass media have resulted in distinct homogeneous languages. Biology, we observe a similar phenomenon. So we've got this idea that where populations are spread evenly over a large area, they blend into one another. So I'm going to just highlight that in pink, because that's going to match what we had in pink about the languages. And our conclusion should match what we have about orange about the languages. We're going to have distinct homogeneous species, basically. So we just have that matching. Because this is almost a more like main idea conclusion identifier where the conclusion is implied, has not been stated yet, I'm not going to need to highlight each individual statement as I would if this was a more technical conditional logic kind of inference task. Here I'm just trying to match the analogy with languages. So we go to our answer choices starting with choice A, and I'm going to pick my orange because I know I have to match this orange statement about distinct homogeneous languages with distinct homogeneous species. Well, choice A does that immediately. Again, I am going to have to put in the work and evaluate the paragraph, but choice A should really be jumping off the screen at this point. And on the exam, I'm just going really, really brisk through the remaining answer choices, so we'll even do that here with this explanation video. So I'm going to go back to the pink, and we're just going to find reasons to eliminate. So smooth continuums, absolutely not. That's a reversal. Minor physical differences, that's absolutely not a complete opposite interpretation. A lack of homogeneity, absolutely not. And species that have no relationship to one another, absolutely not no relationship, they're just distinct. So E is an extreme statement, whereas B, C, and D were all basically reversals as our common inference reasons to eliminate. But of course, on this question yourself, after evaluating the paragraph proactively, you probably should have reached the correct answer of A almost immediately when you went into the answer choices for this problem.